technology have become one of the growing trends in the global landscape of toy industry. While robotics and artificial intelligence has become a technology combined with robotics and artificial intelligence is gaining popularity and demand amidst the users or customers of toy. In the recent past, drone technology has brought a smarter and economical evaluation in the toy industry by placing programmed intelligence microcontrollers are Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled, which allow the connected toys to be operated from a definite distance fast. But many user need still need to be addressed, such as battery life, location technology, etc. Steps are also needed to develop drones from nice toys to professional tools, from photography and filming applications to inspection services and large cargo logistics. As we all know, drone ecosystem is experiencing exponential growth with players defining their roles in the value chain and exploring ways to meet users' needs. Some focus on hardware and software, while others offer drone as a service. They all act as catalysts for the implementation of drones in our economic landscape. They are the enablers which bridge the gap between businessmen and drone technology, playing an essential role in accelerating the use of drones in commercial applications. A globally competitive landscape is available to the manufacturers of toys. With the advent of R&D in drone technology, which has led to availability of low-cost drones, in addition to the growing penetration of robotics and artificial intelligence, India has the prospect to contribute to the global landscape of toy industry and be Atmanirbhar to meet the domestic market demands. As India has a vast pool of skilled human resources, globally competitive cost structure and developed ecosystem of industry academia collaboration, which are key enablers for growth in the toy industry. In the recent rapidly changing and evolving ecosystem from defense warfare to toy industry structure and developed ecosystem of industry academia collaboration which are key and available to the toy industry. The future of robotics, artificial intelligence and drone technologies is certain, promoted by governments. Commitment towards technology development and R&D will loom immense growth opportunity and change the face of toy manufacturers in the country. Today we have two very eminent speakers with us who has worked extensively on the drone technology. So let me first welcome Professor Subir Saha from IIT Delhi and Professor Amchur Bharadwaj from IISc Bangalore. I don't think that we could have any better people to represent for this very important session. I will give brief introduction of Professor Saha. Professor Saha has done BTech from NIT Durgapur, then MTech from IIT Kharagpur, and PhD from Machine University, Canada. And now he is the professor in mechanical engineering in IIT Delhi since 2006. And Professor Bharadwaj has done BTech in computer science and engineering IIT Bombay and MS from in electrical engineering from Stanford University and PhD also in electrical engineering from Stanford University. First, I will request Professor Saha to give his thought or views on this drone technology. Professor Sahab.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajiv Sharma, for nice introduction of the affair and, of course, introducing me. And good noon to all of you, Dr. Sharma, Professor Bhardwaj, the CI representatives, and others. Good day to all of you. First, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me in this India Toy Fair 2021 and giving us the opportunity to address and present IIT Delhi startups on drones companies, Botlab Dynamics and Vecpros. As I saw in the write-up of this webinar on drone technology, it is true that India has the potential to create many toys based on drone technologies. This reminds me toy helicopters that I bought many times to entertain the kids who visit my home. The joy in those kids' faces have really made me happy and kept their parents relieved who otherwise get disturbed, particularly when the adults were talking, in a gathering. In my opinion, robotics in India has already penetrated colleges and schools besides majorly in auto industry. I'm involved in one such activity called Robocon or Robotic Contest. It is organized by Doordarshan since 2002 in India, and the winning team represents the country in the International ABU Robocon hosted by various countries in the Asia Pacific region. India also hosted in 2008 and 2014 the ABU Robocon, and now planning to host in 2022 in Delhi. IIT Delhi will be the organizer or the co-host of that competition. There are several robotic competition who grew, several robotic companies who grew from the participation in these competitions. There are about 100 teams and about 2,000 students who are involved in this competition. I'm one of the judges of the DD Robocon since 2005 and the organizer of the event from 2019. What, however, needed to boost these activities, mainly in drone technology, countrywide, are as follows. I have listed them in terms of bulleted items. Building safe, affordable drones so that kids can play with them even at homes. A bigger size drones to make them educational devices to teach the principle of electric motors, the battery technologies, the controllers, the aerodynamics to college and school students. Drone kits to be made available so that the children and the students can make their own drones in order to find several applications like surveillance, pesticide spraying, etc. Finally, what is most important from the government side is a simplified rules to allow drones to fly outside our homes. Through this webinar, let us spread awareness to all stakeholders, that is manufacturers, users, and educators, to take appropriate steps for making more drone toys. We, the iHub Foundation for Cobotics, a non-profit Section 8 company, under the mission of interdisciplinary cyber physical systems funded by DST, will support or encourage all such efforts which will be coming forward. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Professor Sahab, IIT Delhi has developed 2 videos.
Yes.
Can I request Mr. Savas to run the 2 videos?
Please.
Hi, my name is Mr. Prem Sai and I am CEO and co-founder of VCross. At VCross, we are providing preventive surveillance using computer vision and robotics. Drones have been around us for more than 2 to 5 years and they caught our imagination in easing out our operations in different fields. Yet, they are limited by their network connectivity and the range of flying. Industries and individuals have to employ expert pilots and sophisticated software stack to control drones and carry out their operations. In a lot of ways, this is the problem that we are trying to solve when we are at IIT.
Me and my co-founder Prem are working on autonomous coordination of drones. We extend our work to real-life applications and build the product. Our initial focus was to extend the communication range of the drones. VCross drone is equipped with a 4G modem that connects to the internet and extends the communication range of the drones by nearly infinite. It is also equipped with vision sensors and low-power GPUs that helps it navigate safely through the environment.
The first step of our preventive surveillance, drone looks at the region and classifies different objects. And then it estimates its abnormality level and it reports to the user. In next process, it streams video to the remote location, and once user confirms the abnormality, it generates a report and shares it with everyone in the organization. With this, everyone in the organization can have total transparency over abnormalities in the field. COVID-19 has proven as a great opportunity for us to use our solution in outfield. Many local authorities and industries have used our solution to increase their inspection times by 10 times.
One more video we have. Thank you, Professor Saab.
Thank you.
Now I request Professor Amruchur Bharadwaj to share his thought process on this drone technology.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma, and greetings to Professor Saha and others on the call. I think, as you rightly said, drone technology is a very intriguing technology for creating toys, and we already have small helicopters and drones available at the form factor of a toy. But if we look forward, where can we push this technology to, and how to push it to really create a large industrial base, right, and a user base and a whole ecosystem? I think there are 4 points I would like to kind of bring out. One is safety. I think it is absolutely essential that we really look at safety and all the technologies which go into safety if we really want these kinds of toys and these technologies to percolate down to be handled by children. And on that, I'll just come back and identify a few interesting things to think about as we go forward. Second is endurance. As many of us have actually played with these toys, we find that these, after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, essentially they lose their charge. So we need to actually have a more robust and better way of increasing the endurance of these devices, especially in these small form factor, toy form factor type applications. Third, I think it's very important to go beyond just making helicopters or small toys and kind of think of what new applications we can develop, be it for toys itself, right? And how do you create a formal framework by which new toys can be built, and new toy-based applications can be built on the drone technology. And finally, regulations is very important. I think Professor Saha has already touched upon that. So I want to come back to the safety aspect, right? And I feel safety, endurance, and applications, all three provide opportunities for the Indian ecosystem, the innovators, right, to really change the game. Let me come to safety as an example, right? We have always been fixated on a quad rotary type systems, right? And we see in nature butterflies, right? So they are beautiful, very, very light. They really fascinate the children, right? So is it possible to think of changing the way we build these flying toys? And of course, that requires significant advances in technology and a lot of innovation. But this seemingly innocuous application of creating toys for children, I think, can spur tremendous advances if we pay attention and focus on it. And it could have other non-toy based applications clearly, right? Related to that is the whole area of soft robotics. Again, it's tied to safety, right? Any hard things, it can be a little tough and dangerous for children, but the whole area of building machines using soft materials, flexible materials, right? So that is again a fascinating area where I believe a lot of innovation and advances will happen, and they are happening. And we should also in the country get into that. And especially again, the whole toy industry and ecosystem can provide a reason and a spur for doing this. And this is the third point is related to propulsion technologies, right? How do you make these move? And we already saw, like, you have rotors, you could have wings. Maybe there are other novel ways of making these things move in the air. Maybe the propulsion is outside the toy. It doesn't have to be on the toy, and so on. So again, there are a lot of innovations which could be thought about as we go forward. And all these are important for improving safety, but I think they will really open up new dimensions for us to create new kinds of devices. The second aspect I want to come to is endurance. Again, this is something which is very, very important, not only for toy applications, but for other applications, industrial applications, and so on. Right? These drones, they because of their weight limitation, they can't carry too much energy in them. So are there other ways of powering these drones? Are there other ways of automatically charging the drones, right? Can we not have a kid come in and try to plug the battery in and charge it? Can it somehow charge by itself? These are questions, and I believe there are answers to these questions through innovations in technology. And I think that is also a fantastic area. I think it will really spur innovations, and also it will be transferable to other kinds of applications and other robotic technologies. Finally, this aspect of applications. What I mean by applications is, can we think of these drones as a platform? And I think this was something also alluded to by Professor Saha about drone kits, right? Not just think of end drone, but just like a smartphone allows app developers to develop new apps on the smartphone. Can we think of the drones as a platform on which new applications, new games, new toys, new entertainment type of things can be developed? And that will require certainly this drone kits, as well as the strong software framework, a programming environment to actually enable these kinds of new applications to emerge on this drone platforms. And I think the idea of a competition was, as was suggested by Dr. Sharma and Professor Saha, is a fantastic one. And in our iHub for Robotics and Autonomous Systems Innovation Foundation, we have launched a robotics competition right now. It is to create a robo janitor, which will help clean toilets automatically. But I see this creating these drones for toy applications as a fantastic another possibility for a competition, and we'd love to kind of collaborate with IIT Delhi's iHub to maybe we can think of jointly having some kind of a competition to kind of spur innovation in creating new drone-based toys. So with that, I'll just pause and stop here, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to participate.
Thank you, Professor Bharadwaj, for saying that drones to be developed as a platform for development of new application or toy technology, and also for that robo generator iHub. Sir, I came to know that IISc has also developed one video. Mr. Subhash, do you have that video? Can you run that video? Thank you. So now I want to ask one question from Dr. Saha.
Yes.
Dr. Saha, you are aware that investment in UAS, unmanned aerial systems, is soaring, but challenges remains there. So what are your views on this challenges on this unmanned aerial systems?
No, challenges are, of course, in the technology itself, as Bharadwaj also mentioned, no? For example, the endurance, no? Endurance, for any real work, be it defense or even for delivery of drugs. If you have to take medicine from AIMS to IIT Delhi, maybe it is 20 minutes, but if it is to be taken to Gurgaon, maybe it will take about 40 minutes. So typical endurances are about 20 minutes, 30 minutes for all the drones that we see in marriage and stuff. So this is one such thing. The second would be the regulations. Regulations are not so strict because of the security and other aspects. So many people are afraid to come forward. In fact, we as a iHub, even though we are interested to strongly move, but whenever I think that I cannot fly here because we are in the traffic pathway of aircrafts, and every time we do some testing, we have to go to Delhi police, so it's tough. So similarly in the US, so I think some of these issues are challenging. Other than the issues like swarming, like autonomous control, these are anyway as a part of robot control and stuff like that. But these are preliminary. Some of the things which I mentioned at the beginning are the real issues in my own opinion.
Okay, thank you. Professor Bharadwaj, this is a question for you. How effectively drone technology could be used for application in toy industry? How industry, academia and institute could create an ecosystem in this direction? I
think
say that how
that
industry, academia and institute could create an ecosystem for development of this drone technology.
That's right. Yes. I think certainly it looks very promising. And I think as we discussed earlier, there are a lot of challenges, especially if you want to create a product which is safe and fun and usable by the end user, which are children and even adults, young adults who want to play with these. And we have a long way to go. We have a lot of technological challenges, to really bridge to create a manufacturing kind of ecosystem and pipeline to be able to build these devices at scale at low cost. Because for toys you don't want to pay too much money, and I think this industry academia collaboration is extremely important. And in that regard, I feel the new iHubs, which is a vehicle created by Department of Science and Technology, are fantastic vehicles. And we are actually, through our ISC iHub, trying to put together such an ecosystem with some of the local industries, MSMEs especially, and our academic colleagues, both in ISC and outside. I think we can try to think of maybe creating a mission mode project, perhaps, where that will give like a very clear goal to work towards. And it could be an ambitious mission mode project, and it could involve multiple institutions, industry, and of course it will need additional funding support from the government and the industry. But that kind of a mission mode project can actually rally everyone and give a certain timeline and definite goals. So, and of course the other thing, as we discussed earlier, is also these competitions to really enable the young people to come in and think of doing new things. And you have to be creative with toys. It can't just be industrial type approach. It has to be young people thinking of new ideas, new applications. So again, competitions and mission mode projects. These I would, maybe our iHubs can really help nucleate and spell this.
Professor Shah, can I have your views on this industry, academia and institute tie-up to create an ecosystem for development of drone technology?
Yeah, I think I I'll be single out saying that, okay, let's have this competition. The reason being that the Robocon competition experience I was sharing with you, during my presentation. Last 15 years I'm involved with it, and when it started 2002, there were almost none startup companies in the area of robotics. But today you will find at least no, 15 to 20 or maybe up to 50, you know, if the number may go that way, now who are selling the motors, the components, you know, it has created an industry in itself, you know. And like we have been organizing this competition, the MathWorks being a software company sponsors it, KUKA being the hardware company sponsors it, you know. So I think these drone technologies for the toy, you know, toy is a new dimension and it is more challenging as Bharadwaj was mentioning, you know. It is
Yeah.
safety as well as the creativity. I think we should immediately launch drone-based toy competition as soon as possible, which will bring industry to make them and to fund them to get them aware, so that our Prime Minister vision that the toy industry should be boosting our economy as fast as possible. I think I would singly say let's have a drone-based toy.
Atmanirbhar things.
Yes,
Atmanirbhar.
yes, yes.
How can UAS stakeholders capture or create value?
Okay, you meant
Unmanned
UAS?
aerial systems.
Yes. Yeah, I think
UAV, UAS.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think we have to separate out UAV, that is
Okay.
flying vehicles for toy and indoor applications,
Correct.
versus the broader industrial, civilian, and strategic use cases for drones. I think these are two very different ball games. And I think the UAS systems and the operators, etc., are largely focusing on the outside, external, outdoors, strategic civilian applications, where especially regulation is also very key. For very light drones, I think DGCA has already permitted the small flying instruments to be and machines to be, you can actually use them indoors. So I think these are two different areas. I think we should keep them separate because they will have their own trajectory of evolution and so on. And I think it's important to bring in the people from the toy community, more MSMEs out here, and kind of not complicate and connect it with the US and those things, because I think then it will become a problem. I feel, these should be kept separate.
Okay. So, Professor Saab, what are the factors that will determine our drone market?
Good question. So a factor is certainly one is the cost for the customers to buy. That is one. Safety, of course, another prime target. These two. Then other things is the manufacturers, like who will make them actually. Even many of the components are imported in the country, the controllers and stuff like that. So these three immediately I can remember, and other things, of course, regulation has simplified the home. So these three I put it in the top list, and unless maybe Bharadwaj can add a few more to help me.
Dr. Bharadwaj, you want to add something on this market things for drone technology?
I think Professor Saha has covered all the important ones. I think, as you mentioned, these components are very critical, and largely we import them. But I think some of these small motors and actuators and perhaps sensors is something which can be, we should think of making them here in the country. But I think the challenge will be the investment required to make these, because unless you see scale and returns on investment, how do you get people to invest in these? And so that is a chicken and egg problem, and that is where the government through these mission mode grants and R&D funding can test the waters and see if some interesting, and we have to take a risk and kind of really invest a little bit to seed this whole ecosystem.
Sure.
Right.
And if it picks up, then I think it will be self-sustaining.
Right. So my last question is that in terms of technology, Professor Bharadwaj, what technologies provide growth opportunities in this sector?
I think we touched upon some of them in an indirect way earlier. I think the power technology for powering, right? So that is something which is universally applicable to not only these kinds of toys, but to every kind of machine as we go forward, right? Machines in the house and outside. And being able to do self-charging, autonomous charging, charge management, that is one thing. The second is again sensor technology, because again these toys have to have low cost sensors, very low lightweight sensors. And again, if you crack that problem, you will be able to transfer that to other applications. Third is maybe the way we think of designing these systems can change, given now that network is ubiquitous. We have wireless connectivity everywhere, and so the whole the thought process of designing these toys and other kinds of systems like this can change. And important consideration, of course, out here besides safety is privacy, and so that is something very important, because as these toys are interacting with kids, and especially when networking comes in, a lot of data will get collected. And so that is something which, of course, becomes very important to manage in a careful way, so that no one gets upset.
Professor Shah, you want to add something on this technology part for this growth?
I just wanted to add the security aspect as well. No,
Okay.
maybe you want to do something and then it is doing something else. No, so that is also a major concern. And the rest of the things are stated, and I think a strong willpower, from the government side. Of course, sometimes it is there, but then sometimes public are so skeptical. Even with our IHubs, people are thinking, "Oh, will it succeed?" kind of thing. So strong willpower and determination until we see the end. It is not that 5 years you give the program funding and then after that suddenly we withdraw. No, that's a long-term planning should be there.
So thank you, Professor Shah and Professor Bharadwaj.
Thank you
Your
very much.
insight into how technology will shape up in future was really worth its weight. I am sure the participants will benefit immensely from this. The work done through your partners was also well showcased. We are in fact at the cusp of major technologies revolution, and it is important that we integrate technology into all facets of our organizations. Thank you for joining this session today. With this, I bring the session to a close.